إله إلا الله لا 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 إله إلا الله.
The seventh decade of the 19th century Christian calendar was marked with noticeable material increase and growth. In the Middle East, this sudden wealth was paralleled by clearer and greater economic and educational dependence on the West. Young men from Islamic backgrounds, swept into the Western mainstream, began to react to the clash of two widely conflicting value systems, one based on submission, compassion, and trust in God, and another based on cutthroat competition and material power. Those who saw this conflict had no option but to work in directions to revive the Deen of Islam. Shaykh Fadhlalla Haeri and a few men migrated to a remote part of America to establish a model for honorable existence and action. This was the birth of Zahra Trust, Bayt al Deen, and the American Institute of Quranic Studies.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله
وأهل العفو والرحمة
أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله
هذا اليوم الذي جعلته للمسلمين عيدا ولمحمد صلى الله عليه وآله زخرا وكرامة وشرفا ومزيدا أن تصلي على محمد وآل محمد وأن تدخلني في كل خير أدخلت فيه محمدا وآل محمد وأن تخرجني من كل سوء أخرجت منه محمدا وآل محمد صلواتك عليه وعليهم أجمعين. اللهم إني أسألك خير ما سألك منه عبادك الصالحون وأعوذ بك مما استعاذ منه عبادك المخلصون. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بسم الله وبالله وخير الأسماء لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله.
Since the beginning of Islam, devoted men of sound knowledge have sequestered themselves for teaching in or near the place of worship. the mosque. Throughout the city and countryside, people seeking knowledge would come to attend these mosque schools. A prototype madrasa developed over many years, spreading the message of Islam throughout the East and West. Bayt al Deen was designed and built to become a modern-day prototype self-contained madrasa. The Book of Allah, the Quran, is the basis of study at the Institute. Teaching at the Institute is in English, but the text of the Quran is studied in its revealed Arabic language. Related oral and written Islamic traditions and practices are taught as well. In advanced courses, teachers and students participate in working sessions using the method of ta'wil, or the study of the root derivation of Arabic words as they occur in passages of the Quran. The courses are especially designed to equip students to function as imams and teachers of the Quran, the Sharia, and the Arabic language. Bayt al Deen is open to all visitors, provided they adhere to the moral standards of appropriate behavior, friendliness, appropriate dress, no smoking or drinking, and general courtesy to a place and people dedicated to upholding the high standards of moral pursuit and self-perfection through sacrifice and worship of Allah. Facilities at the Institute include a well-stocked homeopathic and first aid clinic for residents, faculty, and guests. Built into the madrasa complex are kitchen and food preparation facilities, storage and refrigeration provisions, as well as separate dining rooms for men and women. These are full to capacity on this Eid conference occasion, with visitors from throughout the United States and around the world. Retired Brigadier General Riza Bagrami is the Secretary of Zahra Trust and the Superintendent of Bayt al Deen. Would you tell us, Brigadier, what is Zahra Trust?
Well, Zahra Trust is a spiritual foundation established by Shaykh Fadhlalla Haeri, and it was founded to teach the essence of the glorious Quran and the traditions of the Prophet and the Imams. We felt, or Shaykh Fadhlalla felt that there was no place in the United States of America as such where this could be done properly and in an atmosphere of tranquility and peace. And that, therefore, it was felt that a place should be created or built like Bayt al Deen, where we are now sitting. This is known as Bayt al Deen. It's actually a haven, a retreat for people to come who are interested in knowing more about Islam and learning about Islam and delving into the glorious meanings of the Quran.
قلب في وظائف عديدة.
تقلب في وظائف عديدة.
تقلب.
Turned over and over in different assignments.
Yes. To proceed suddenly to do something, to shift instantly to something, to change over something. Qalb.
All of these were derivatives of the verb qalaba, which is to change, to turn. From it is qalb, which is translated generally as heart. But it is in our language an entity or a madgha. What is madgha? Or a physiological unit. They translate as a lump of flesh. It's an organ that the Prophet ﷺ describes it by saying that it is an organ in the breast of man, and if it is well, everything about him is well, and if it is not, he is not. So it is not just the physical organ, it is something that is more akin to the electromagnetic or the energy field that is somehow seems to be centered or focused or interlocks into that region, if you like to physicalize it. So it's a subtler force that is superimposed on what we call a heart. But this is an ordinary dictionary, and you can read for us. To see the impossibility of trying to do these things in English. It's for that reason we have hoped to create an atmosphere here to go to the Quran and concentrate on the Quran, because the message of truth is in it, but using basic Arabic. And it is not Arabic language as such, it's Quranic Arabic, and it is not that difficult. There are not that many terms that one may need. Bismillah. What you have copied.
From the verb kalaba. From the verb kalaba, meaning to turn around, turn about, turn up, turn upwards, upturn, upturn something, to turn
Located
over,
on 140 acres of Texas Hill Country, just 40 minutes from the San Antonio International Airport, Bayt al Deen was established to provide a sanctuary for all those who are in search of truth. A short walk from the Madrassa, one finds resident housing, Zahra Press, books on Islam, and Zahra Farms. In addition, the property contains 3 wells, underground fuel storage tanks, an emergency electric generator, and its own laundry facilities. Zahra Farms provides eggs, goat's milk, fresh produce from the fields, and halal meat from the slaughterhouse.
The Zahra Farm itself is also in support of the American Institute of Quranic Studies, so that we can produce as much as is possible organically grown vegetables and meat and eggs and milk. And in both these activities, the students participate in the afternoons, the 2 hours assignments that as I mentioned earlier, they help in those activities. It is recreational as well as very constructive, and it does them a lot of good.
A lake and swimming pool add to the on-site recreational possibilities. A morgue and cemetery are also located on the property. These facilities provide the opportunity for proper preparation and burial for both American Muslims and those living far from their homeland.
issue of publishing, if you look at the available literature in English, in the sense of books or manuscripts, you would find over the past 70, 80 years quite a lot of Persian, Arabic, and Urdu, and possibly other Eastern languages have been translated into English, and often into good English, by scholars, many of whom were under the wake or the wave of Orientalists and people who came before them, after them, with them. On the Sufi side, there has been quite a lot of literature, but not brought about, or if you like, not translated by the people of Dhawq. Many of the people in the West get attracted to the content of the basket of Sufism, but unless they are in the basket, the impressions or the discourse or the translation or the communication will have aspects in it missing. That which has come from inside, though may have other technical inadequacies or inaccuracies, it still is more usable than that which had come from what I may term loosely as an academic or an observer's exercise. But a lot of what you and I may need in order to benefit from right here and now, in order to really heal us and help us and guide us and bring about a better and higher quality of life, you would find very little.
To respond to this situation, Zaha Trust has established a comprehensive publications program. This program includes Books on Islam, which is a mail-order Islamic book service, Zaha Press, an in-house printing unit, and Zaha Publications.
In support of all this, we have also launched a very ambitious program of publications. We have about 20 to 30 books that are in the process of being compiled and written or translated and published. This is the main purpose behind this publication activity is to try and fill the gap that exists at the present moment of correct knowledge on various subjects of Islam.
With all of these activities happening in the background for support, could you describe for us what the daily routine of a typical student at the Madrassa might be?
A typical day would be, would start at Fajr, when the student comes to the mosque and says the Salat, and then there's a physical exercise class of over 15 minutes. Then he goes back and to his room and does his, cleans himself up in his room and comes and has a breakfast. And he's ready for class at around about 9 o'clock for a 4-hour study.
While coursework for adults continues in the mosque, basic Islamic instruction is also taking place at the Sadiq School for Boys.
شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني صدق الله مولانا العظيم.
Let's see, can you recite إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر?
إنا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر.
Classes at the school, currently housed at Bayt al Deen, include the fundamentals of Islam, as well as vocational and sporting activities.
Okay, shall we say the Fatiha? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka
Amongst the resident teachers, we have people who can teach Arabic, Quranic Arabic, and Hadith, and the Quran itself, the tafsir of the Quran. We get a number of visiting professors from outside and teachers, alims, who come and teach subjects such as Islamic sciences, Islamic history, and akhlaq and tasawwuf. We've had many seminars and conferences, and we've had a number of Sufi teachers and sheikhs who've come and graced American Institute of Quranic Studies and given talks to the students and the residents. And immediately after breakfast, he has 4 hours of classes in which the subjects are taught relating to Islam. Then we have a break for about an hour, which is spent in either private study or they go to the library and study books there. Then they have lunch, and after lunch there's a period of rest for about an hour and a half, and then he does some outdoor activities such as farming and work in the press and other improvements of Bayt al Deen, such as landscaping and gardening. Then they come back in the evenings, have usually wash up and then have supper, do the Maghrib prayers, followed by zikr and then Asha, and then they go. That's the end of the day.
The activities of Zahra Trust have expanded beyond the United States to the subcontinent, where several clinics, orphanages, and schools have been opened in India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. These centers provide opportunity for fuqara and local residents to serve in the fields of health and education. Dr. Khalid Iqbal, Secretary of Al Sirat Trust in Pakistan, returned to Bayt al Deen to report on clinical and educational services already in operation and to present future plans for a model village.
If you go back a little bit further into the history, most of the Sufi masters, I mean, Islam is spread in Indian subcontinent purely due to these silsilas, these Sufi silsilas, and in North Africa as well. What they did was, wherever they go, particularly I'm talking about with respect to the Indian subcontinent, they went there and they were hakims by themselves. They opened that small sort of dispensary or hospital or matab they call it, and then they started madrassa. So they spread their message by serving people in those 2 areas, and we are not offering anything new. This is just our old tradition, and we are just reviving that. And I think this is the most effective thing. And this is again the same if you look at the entrance to that. Again, administration office, this is mosque, and this was a main house there. This is also, these are the 2 suites, 1, 2, 3 for the families, and then common living, dining area, and these are the rooms for those ladies. Then they have a common kitchen with, this is again the men's area, this is boys' school, girls' school, and this thing is again hospital. Beautiful. For that. And its elevation, that will be its front. And these are the courtyards. You see this dome construction and all that. So this is how it would look like.
In addition to programs in the subcontinent, Zahra Trust sponsors dawah activities in the United States and South America. To assist this work, Spanish translations of key materials are being made by Zahra Publications. Muqaddam Mahmoud spoke regarding a teaching center and other efforts underway in Argentina.
Y creemos que la da'wah es un modo de vida.
We believe that dawah is a way of living
que nos ayuda a ser mejores musulmanes
that helps us be better Muslims
y a conocer más.
and to know more.
En 1963
In 1963, we began a center to teach young people about Islam.
Entonces, invitamos a la gente a dhikr.
And then we invited people to dhikr.
Y el dhikr es la base de la gnosis.
And dhikr is the base of gnosis, of inner knowledge.
Y de haber empezado al comienzo por un grupo cultural, pasamos a un
We
grupo
began with a cultural group,
islámico
and that
formal.
changed into an Islamic group, and finally that changed into a real group.
Gracias,
Dhikr.
gracias a Zikr, gracias a Zikr
Thanks to dhikr
y a las prácticas del Islam.
and the practices of Islam.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa lahu nasta'in.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل. It's with the dhikr that the heart becomes tranquil. Dhikr is remembrance of Allah. It doesn't have to be in the form that we've done it just now. It's to be in a constant state of remembrance of the one true reality, the creator of all of this creational play that we have in front of our eyes. It's with that dhikr that the heart becomes tranquil, that you then can begin to witness the beautiful, subtle beauty of the manifestations of the Asma' al-Husna. Both of them, both the manifestations of the Asma' al-Husna and this outer manifestation of this world come from the same source, and it's Allah. And it's with the dhikr of Allah that the heart's made turn.
It is to remember. That means there is something already there to be recalled. It is recalled. It's already there. And the reason it is not recognized or perpetually or spontaneously known is because we have been deflected. And the word for that is ghafala. Ghafala is to be distracted. It's a forgetfulness, because remembrance will not be meaningful unless there is its opposite. So it is part of the play of duality. It's unavoidable. One cannot be without the other. كل شيء تعدى حده انقلب إلى ضده. Whatever, being it a physical entity or a meaning, once it transgresses its bounds, it will turn to its opposite. A structured situation, if you overstructure it, it will collapse. You will get the opposite. Take density to a point beyond measurement, and it will become its opposite. These are the laws, the same way as the physical laws that enables us to maintain this platform of body, this physical, intricately balanced, magnificent form. These are more discernible laws. The subtler laws are to be contemplated upon and to be reached, each one of us, by his own attempts and tries because they are what govern, and they are the essences, if you like, or the attributes from which these actions come. So they are more important. The subtler it is, the more powerful it can be.
إلا الله